Hey everyone, Blake here with Gorilla Desk, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to use the mobile app. The first thing we'll look at is how to add a new customer into the system. That can be done by clicking on the plus sign in the lower right corner and choosing New Customer. When adding a new customer, you'll just enter in their name, their email, phone number. You can put in a source, which is how the customer heard about you. You can add a tag. So you can create a tag to indicate anything you'd like. In this case, we'll just use a residential tag. And these are just different ways you can segment your customers. And then we'll put in our address. And in this case, we'll say the billing address is going to be the same. Below that, you're able to add location notes, which are notes specific to this location. So if this customer has multiple properties, you can have specific location notes. You can also manage units. So maybe if it's a commercial property or an apartment complex, you can add different units to this customer. You can add location tags, which are just more specific tags for that individual service location. And then you can add a top note, which is a note that's going to be on the top of all jobs for that customer. Okay, so when you're finished, you'll go ahead and save. Once you've done that, you will have created a customer, and that will bring you right to their customer profile. This is where you can see a consolidated view of all of the customer's information. From here, you can also add additional contacts by clicking on the plus sign. So if you wanted to add a spouse or a family member or possibly a different billing contact, you can add those there. You can also add additional service locations by clicking right here and then clicking on the plus sign. Okay. If you need to edit a location or delete a service location, you can click on the three dots and you'll see those options here. Below, this is where you can also see all of the customers' info, all their jobs, invoices, estimates, payments, credits, and documents. Also, one thing to mention, if it's a customer with multiple properties, you can filter their profile view by location at the very top here. So in this case, there's actually just one location. However, if this was a larger account and you only wanted to see the jobs and invoices for a specific property, for example, you can just filter the entire customer profile based on that view. Okay. So now the next thing we'll look at is creating a job. So to create a job, all you have to do is go to your calendar, hold down on the time slot where you would like to schedule, and then choose New Job. From here, we'll enter in our customer, choose the service location, and then our service type. So this will pull from the predefined list of service templates that should be set up on the desktop. If you're not familiar with this, definitely recommend checking out our settings video in the training series. That will provide a little more information on that. In this case, we're just going to use our bi-monthly service template that we'd already created. Okay, and just because we chose that template, the job knows that it's going to repeat every 2 months on the second Monday because we scheduled the initial job on the second Monday of the month, and we chose our bi-monthly template. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and save. Now we have the job created. However, before we go into that, I want to show you one other thing. If you go back to your calendar, you can easily reschedule a job just by holding down on the job tile to select it, and then you can drag and drop anywhere you'd like to reschedule. Since this is a recurring service and we're making a scheduling change, it will always ask you if you want to move this job only or this and all recurring. So in this case, whether or not we want to change the time of all of Carol's future jobs, or if we want to just change the time of this job only. Okay, you can also increase the length of the job by pulling down on the job tile. And you can make scheduling changes between calendar days as well. So right now we're looking at the day view. However, if you click up here in the top left, you can filter to a different view and still make those scheduling changes accordingly. Okay, so now to open the job, you're just going to click on the job tile, and that will bring you right to this page. So one really powerful feature in Gorilla Desk would be the on-the-way messages. And if you have the texting feature, you'll be able to access this. So if you click down here on the bottom left, that will bring up the SMS communicator. From here, you can just type a message to your customer if you'd like, and send that to them directly from the app. You can also send an on-the-way message. So if you click on the way, this will send the customer a message where you can include a link to your location and you can show the exact arrival time. You can also edit your on-the-way template if you wanted to change the text or make them a little more personalized, and then you'll be able to choose which template specifically you'd like to go with. Okay. So in this case, we're just going to send this on-the-way message. So we're going to paste and then send it to the customer. Your customer should then receive a text message like this saying, "Hey Carol, this is Blake with Truganics. I'm on my way and should be arriving by 12:37. To check my location, click on this link." And once you click on that link, it will show the customer where you are when you've sent that message, and it should show an estimated arrival time as well. Okay, so a really powerful feature for communicating with your customers when you're heading to the job. All right, so then once you're actually on site, the first thing you'll do is check into the job. You can show this on your paperwork. Below that, you'll see all of the customer's information. You'll see their name, all their contact info, service type. If you click on the address, it'll redirect you to your default GPS on your device if you needed directions on how to get there. You can also add a location photo. So if you want to add a photo of the house or property, and you can also view change logs, which will show you any scheduling changes that have been made to this job. So this is from when we drag and drop the job earlier in this video. Okay, below that we have a few types of notes. There's the top note, which is a note that's going to be on the top of all jobs for that customer. This is an internal note only, but this is great for like a gate code or any specific instructions. And then there's the job note, which is a note specific to this job only. So the job note is also internal only, so the customer cannot see the top note or the job note. However, job notes are a little bit more geared towards information specific to this service. So generally, your technician may want to add a photo or attachment while they're in the field. They can also add any notes of what they've done while they're there. And you can also notify other users using this option. So if you want to notify an office staff member or even another tech of something in your notes, you have the option to notify them here, and they will get a notification in their Gorilla Desk app. Okay. Below that, you'll see units. So this would be for if it is a commercial property or an apartment complex and you wanted to add additional units to that property. You can manage units. And first, we'll need to add a building. So click on the plus sign to add a new building. We'll just call this building 1. And then if you click on that building, you're able to add units. And you can add as many units as you want. For this example, we'll just do unit 1. And from here, you can also add a name and contact info, as well as a top note for that unit as well. Okay. So now that you've added your units, you're able to go back to that job. We're going to click on the 3 dots again, and now you can assign the existing units to this job. All right, so we're going to assign building 1 and then save. So now within the job, we'll see that we have the option to check in and add information to this building. So if we open that, click on unit 1. From here, you're able to check into that unit. You can add a top note for that unit, any notes. You can also add materials. And this will pull from your master material list. Just put in some information here so we can view that on our paperwork. And then we'll put in our target pest again. So again, if there's any information here, any target pest or materials you're not seeing, you can make those changes in your master list on the desktop under add-ons and material usage. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save, and then we'll check out of that unit. So again, if you don't really do many commercial properties or have apartment complexes, you can pretty much disregard the units here. Just wanted to provide a little clarity on that section though. From there, you're able to pull the current weather just by clicking on the plus sign, and you can show this on your paperwork. You can add documents if you're on the Pro plan. So if you want to add a service agreement or a contract of some sort, you can add a contract to that job, and if you click on it, that will let you edit. The document will pre-fill with the customer's info like you see here, and then all you'll need to do is fill out the remaining fields. Once the form or contract has been filled out, you're able to click on the three dots and you're able to send that to your customer for e-signature. You can email it or you can text it for e-signature if you have the texting feature available. So that will give your customer the option to sign that form. It'll essentially send that signed form right back to your Gorilla Desk account, and you'll always have access to that on their profile, showing that it's a signed form. Okay. So above that will be the materials. So because of our service template, we already had a material that was predefined, which is why it automatically generated this aerosol. However, if you need to edit that material, you can click on the three dots and then edit material. If you needed to change the quantity, the target pests, maybe the areas treated, you can always make those adjustments. And you can add additional materials by clicking on the plus sign here and then adding material. Okay. You can create an estimate in the field as well, just by clicking on the plus sign and then choosing the item that you'd like to quote them for. We have a video in the training series more specific to estimates as well, so I'd recommend checking that out. Okay, and so after you've added the materials and you've performed the service, I would recommend checking out of the job, so you can show that on your paperwork. You're able to send a work order to the customer, which is a little bit different than an invoice, and we'll take a look at both. But if you wanted to show your customer what work was done while you're there, but you weren't ready to send them a bill yet, then that would be perfect for a work order. To send that, you just click on the three dots in the top right. From here, you can add work order notes, which are visible to the client, and you can send the work order by email or by text. The work order will look something like this. So it will show what work was done, when you were there and when you left, the weather if you choose to show that on your paperwork, the materials for the job, and then also the materials for that specific unit. Okay, and as you can see, this is not a bill or an invoice. There's no price. This is just a work order to show your customer what work was completed. Okay, so if you choose to integrate with Square or Stripe, or choose to use Square or Stripe, those are the two merchants we integrate with. That will allow you to store a credit card on file. So by clicking on the plus sign here, and you can store a credit card. This will give you the option to set your customers up on auto pay, and you can run payments against that card on file in the future as well. So that is an option. As far as the invoice goes, we have this predefined invoice because of our service template. If you needed to make any changes, you can click on the draft button. From here, you can add notes, so invoice notes, which are visible to the client. You can take a signature, and you can always edit the invoice as well. So if you needed to edit, you can make any adjustments here. If you wanted to change the price of either of these items, you can just click on the three dots and then edit the price. Okay. You can also add discounts from the app to that invoice, and you can add additional items as well. So if you're in the field and you needed to charge for an additional service, you can add a line item and then choose from your line item list. Okay. So from here, you can send the invoice by email or text message if you have the texting feature. And if you're connected with Stripe or Square, your customers will be able to pay online. Right? Otherwise, you can add a payment directly in the field. So in this case, we'll go ahead and add a payment. And actually, one other thing to mention would be if you wanted to show a balance for this invoice. So you'll see right now it's in draft. There's no balance due. Maybe you're actually going to send the customer a paper copy of the invoice instead. What you can do is manually mark the invoice as sent right here. And that will take it out of draft status. And it should add a balance to the account, like you'll see here. However, in this case, we'll move it back to draft because we're going to actually take a payment directly in the field. Okay, so when you're ready to take a payment, just click on draft and then add a payment. From here, we're going to choose our payment method. Since I'm connected with Square, I'll have the option to select the card in my list. If I had multiple credit cards saved, I can use the Square API to run a new card, or I can scan a card as well. For this example, I'm just going to use cash. You can add a memo if you'd like. And then I'm just going to add a payment using cash. Okay, so now it shows that this payment has been successfully added. Now the invoice is marked as paid. And from here, you're able to send a receipt by email just by clicking on paid. And then send receipt by email. And you can send this by text as well, again, if you have the texting feature turned on. Now, the last thing you'll want to do is change the job status to complete. And that's what will unlock the next recurring job for this customer 2 months from now. Okay, so you'll still be able to see that future job on the calendar, but you will not be able to open it until you complete the previous. Okay, so you'll always want to change the status to complete when you're done. From there, you can get back to your calendar by clicking on this arrow, and you would work your way down to the next job. One other thing to mention is going to be the map view from the app. If you click on this map button in the lower left, that will show you your starting point, which is entered in your settings on the desktop. And then this is the one job that I have scheduled for that day. However, if you had multiple jobs, you'd be able to see all those jobs on a map for that day. You can view upcoming events. So if you wanted to see jobs in the future, you can include that as well. And you can view different map views by clicking on this icon. And for example, traffic view is a very popular option. So you can view the traffic, and that will show you all of your scheduled jobs and the current traffic between them as well. Okay, and to get back to your calendar, you're just going to click on this icon here, and that will bring you right back. Okay, so I hope that helped. If you guys have any questions, as always, you can reach us at 855-536-7470, and we'll be more than happy to help. You can also open up a live chat on our website as well. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Take care out there.